Hey everybody, Rockin Robbie Billups here for Pop Culture Philosophers, and it's time for the weekly comic book review. That's right everybody, time for the weekly comic book review. It's the show I read a lot of comic books and I let you know what I thought about them, and we always start with the pick of the week, and this week's pick of the week, The Mighty Thor 705. Jason Aaron has been doing a phenomenal job on Thor. Jane Foster's time as Thor is coming to an end. This is a very key issue as far as that is concerned. This book was great. It was fantastic. Jason Aaron's Thor has been making a run here at the pick of the week. Absolutely. Aaron Dodderman's artwork, Russell Dodderman's artwork is absolutely beautiful. It's amazing. Enhanced by these amazing, extravagant colors by Matt Wilson. Fantastic job from Aaron, Dodderman, Wilson, everybody involved, man. Seriously, Sabino on the lettering, your editors, everybody. This book has been such a great exploration into faith, into worthiness, into gods that we worship. It's just into being a hero. It's a great exploration and study of what it really means to be a hero. And it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to be some kind of mythological being or god, but you can just be a normal person and make the sacrifice necessary to save the day. And I mean, the death of the mighty Thor, we shall see how this all winds up, but this issue was key. It was heartfelt. It meant a lot. This type of stuff done right, in my opinion. Seriously, Jason Aaron, Russell Dodderman, Matt Wilson, and company, you guys have been doing such a fantastic job. And Jason Aaron's journey with Thor is nowhere near complete. Jane Foster's time as Thor may be ending, may be winding down. But Jason Aaron still got some tricks up his sleeve when it comes to Thor. I'm very excited about the future of the character, of the world, of the Marvel Universe. Seriously, it seems like we got some really cool stuff coming up soon. But The Mighty Thor, pick of the week, again, because I love that book so much. Also from Marvel, we have Thanos number 17 from writer Donny Cates and artist Jeff Shaw, Antonio Fabella doing the coloring, Clayton Cowles doing the lettering. Fantastic job from this team as well. When Donny Cates came onto the scene with God Country, he just took everybody by storm. Now, he had been building up this career for years on books like Buzzkill, Ghost Fleet, Paybacks, things like that, right? So when Thanos hits, we were all just primed, pumped and primed and ready for Cates to unleash his brand of chaos onto the Marvel Universe. And Thanos has been the perfect example of this. This book has just blown everybody away. It's been fun, it's been cosmic, it's been epic, explosive, and huge. And he's nearing the end of his first story. This is the penultimate issue, so we got one more left in this Thanos wins story. But this book has been fun, filled with surprises. You never know what's going to come, and it's a really cool, crazy take on what would happen to the future of the Marvel Universe if Thanos ultimately won. And he probably will, right? Because Thanos is a BA. But this book is great, amazing artwork, seriously, great stuff here. I don't want to show you some pages that maybe I shouldn't, but you got the Silver Surfer with the power of Mjolnir at the end of time fighting on Thanos. You get a little bit of just beautiful, luscious artwork, great coloring, fantastic dynamic action. Really such a good book. Thanos has been a joy, a treat. Speaking of Donny Cates, he also came over and started on Doctor Strange. Did an amazing story with Loki as the Sorcerer Supreme. That was great. This Damnation is kind of like his last hurrah on Doctor Strange right now. So he did that one story and then Damnation, and it's kind of it. So it's a big crossover between Doctor Strange and this book. It is important to read the Doctor Strange issues in the order they come out in between the issues of Damnation. That is important. This is co-written by Nick Spencer. It's not my favorite, seriously. It feels just a little thin, a little light. It doesn't really feel like this warrants as many issues as have been dedicated to it. Simon Kudranski does the artwork in this one, and it's got some really cool moments. Some great coloring there, and I believe from Dan Brown. Let me double check on that. Yes, Dan Brown's colors are an exceptional thing in this one. Seriously. So basically, Wong has assembled this team because Doctor Strange has been captured by Mephisto. And so Doctor Strange has assembled a team of supernaturally bent heroes in the Marvel Universe. Blade, Moon Knight, Bloodstone, Ghost Rider, Johnny Blaze Ghost Rider. Lots of coolness here, and also the Avengers have become Ghost Riders themselves. So it's kind of like this little gimmick thing of Ghost Riderized heroes and the lesser known, more supernatural oriented heroes coming after him. There is a great moment in here involving Blade. Finally, for the first time in a long time, as far as comics are concerned, there's a great Blade moment, and so I would love to see more Blade from Cates in the future, but Damnation's not doing it for me right now at all. Actually, Greg Pak from Marvel Comics releases Weapon H, for, #1 this week for us. Weapon H is, of course, from the Weapons of Mutant Destruction story, the Weapon X stuff, where there has been a Hulk-Wolverine hybrid that was created by the government. And that book, the Weapon X book, and that little crossover, it was kind of fun. It was just a big action-oriented thing, and I fell out of it for a while because, I don't know, with the crossover, it kind of got a little silly with all this Weapon H stuff or whatever. But now Weapon H has his own book, and I really liked it. I really did. Corey Smith does the artwork in here. You also got a backup story by Marcus Toe. But it gets into the character of who this cat is, who actually is Weapon H, the Hulkverine, if you will. It's got some classic stuff in there that it's nice throwback to Wolverine's first appearance in Hulk 180 and 181 and 182 and all that jazz. So you do got the Wendigo in here. You got some nice fun action, beautiful colors. I really like the coloring in this book. Who did the coloring? Let's find out. The coloring is Maury Howell. Really cool stuff there. I liked it. It was fun. It's mindless to a point. It's got some characterization inside of it that's actually really neat and cool, and more than what they were doing, at least in my opinion, over at Weapon X when they were first introducing this character. But the story had a great flow to it, great energy. It was a really brisk, fun, quick read that I really highly enjoyed. Seriously, Weapon H, issue 1, I really liked. I wasn't expecting to, so maybe that's why I liked it even more. So Avengers 685 is here, bringing us the 11th part of the No Surrender story. Kind of a placeholder until Jason Aaron comes over into May and takes over the Avengers title. But this has been really fun. It's basically going to be wrapping up all the threads from the Mark Waid Avengers run, from US Avengers and all that stuff, right? So what's the other one? Uncanny Avengers. But the Hulk is back, and you got the Hulk versus the new Red Hulk here, and he's decked out in the Iron Patriot armor, so he's Iron Hulk or whatever. Great fights with the Hulk in here. The Hulk is back in full form, and you get a really cool fight between the Hulk and Vision. Really great arc that just pops off the page. Paco Medina, fantastic stuff, dynamic, fluid, high energy. Juan Velasco's colors are energized. They energize the page with such intensity that I really like it. This has been a very fun Avengers story, and it's just really teeing up Jason Aaron quite nicely there. But Hulk is back, have no fear. He's back, and he's as awesome as ever. Seriously. Tales of Suspense number 103 is here, bringing us the 4th part of the 5-part Red Ledger story, written by Matthew Rosenberg, artwork by travel foreman Rachel Rosenberg, and Clayton Cowles again on the lettering. Cowles is one of the best letters in the business. Definitely got to pay attention to him. Foreman's artwork is really cool. I'm not really going to try to spoil for people that are reading this book that don't really want to know, if you're not caught up, what's going on. But if you are caught up, pay attention. If not, skip ahead a few seconds. But Black Widow's back. Black Widow is back in her glory. There she is. Or is she back? And how is she back? And what's the story behind there? This issue is telling you the story of what happened from her death in Secret Empire to her reappearance in the pages of Tales of Suspense. But is it everything that we think it is? It may be, and it may not be. But this one was a really cool issue that really kind of filled in those gaps. Great dialogue. Some really great artwork from Foreman. Some of the best of the series in here. Light, humorous, but deep and rich with a little bit of characterization. That's what I expect from Matthew Rosenberg. Tales of Suspense has not been my favorite Rosenberg book. That for sure at Marvel has been Punisher. The last week's New Mutants was really good. But Tales of Suspense is cool. It's just going to be 5 issues, and it's basically just setting up the return of Black Widow. Or at least that's what I assume, because she also showed up in that Infinity Countdown book, right? Let's move over to some DC stuff. So let's talk about Batman. Batman number 43 is out this week, continuing, and I think finishing off the Everyone Loves Ivy story, because it definitely came to an end. Michael Janin doing amazing, beautiful artwork, even at times kind of reusing some of the layouts from the War of Jokes and Riddles, because there's a part in the story that kind of thematically ties to that. And, you know, you guys, if you follow this channel, you know how I feel about Tom King. I love Tom King. But his Batman's a little up and down for me. I did not really overall like this Ivy story. There is a point to this Ivy story, and I'm not quite down with the point of this Ivy story, but it is highlighted by gorgeous artwork from Janin. Amazing artwork. So it's all right. It's one of those stories in the Tom King Batman run that I just really don't like, but I do think there's some crazy cool foreshadowing at the very end of this issue. But it's basically setting up Ivy's future in the DC universe, and that's where that is right there. At least that's, I don't know. I'm just not the biggest fan of this Everyone Loves Ivy story. It just seems simple and just kind of, it wraps up really, I don't know. Superman number 43 is here this week, continuing this Bizarro Boy story. So Superboy's got a Bizarro version. It's Boy-Zarro, and he's back. This issue is really, really fun. The last issue was great. It completely mimicked Superman Rebirth number 1. The problem with Bizarro stories is that Bizarro's dialogue is hard to follow sometimes, but in this one it's done the right way. I can totally follow along with it. Patrick Gleason on the artwork with Joe Prado. Amazing stuff. Stephen Downer's coloring. The colorists in comic books these days have really, really stepped up their game, but high energy, explosive, big cool things, and that right there is why you want this book. You got Rob Zarro, Damian Wayne, the Bizarro version of Damian Wayne is in it, and it is awesome. And we got more of these giant ads about Bendis coming to Superman. Guys, we know. We get it, okay? So this story's been fun. It was neat. I liked it. It feels like the Superman stories of old. It's a nice little idea. Revisiting the Bizarro world, but seriously, the Damian Wayne Bizarro version of him is a trip. Absolutely. Absolutely. Damage number 3 is here from the New Age of Heroes. These books that kind of spin out of metal in various ways. Damage has been very impressive so far to me. So far, I've liked almost all of these books that we've been reading. Sideways, Silencers, The Terrifics was amazing. Damage is the only one that's so far in right now, being the first 3 issues. Great stuff. The best artwork of Tony Daniel's career, in my opinion. Giant, explosive panels. Like, these things just, these characters and figures are just leaping out at you, and it has room. It's just this is such an epic feeling comic book. It's great. Weapon H was good, but it didn't feel as big as something like a Hulk type book should be. The Avengers issue this week was really good with some great Hulk stuff, but Tony Daniel has been really doing the right job on how you should draw a Hulk comic. If you want it to be that big and massive and explosive, the book's gotta fit it, right? Think about the Death of Superman, Superman 75 by Dan Jurgens. Everything was a splash page. Those things have an impact. And when your book needs to have bam, 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 sometimes it really helps to have this giant, explosive stuff with not a lot of clutter, like giant explosive artwork without a lot of little detail and clutter. There is a highly detailed, if you look at the backgrounds, but it's just the right amount of detail. The figures, the dynamic of the action, it's all there. This book has been gorgeous. It's been amazing. This is the last issue by Tony Daniel for the foreseeable future. I mean, there's a few more issues that are going to be done by other artists coming up. I'm sure Daniel will be coming back. So it'll be interesting to see what happens to the book with the absence of Daniel, but Robert Venditti's been doing a great job on the script, but the art is a big highlight, really knows how to tell a story. Tony Daniel knows how to do a Hulk story better than some of the artists over at Marvel right now. They're doing the Hulk book. But don't get me wrong, they're all good artists, right? Brave and the Bold number 2 is out this week from artist Liam Sharp, taking a chance at writing, and he's doing a great job. It's dense, it's a little verbose, but there's a lot of exposition in this issue. So don't be afraid of all the word balloons and all the words, because it actually flows really well. But once again, the artwork is a huge highlight in this book. Liam Sharp, he's got these amazing textured details that he puts into every single little thing, even into the backgrounds with all the Celtic imagery and all that stuff. And the story that's being told, and look at that stuff right there. It's amazing. High fantasy, super gritty, gritty and detailed artwork. I absolutely love it. Amazing coloring by Romulo Fajardo Jr. I probably butchered that name like crazy, but the artwork is great. The story is cool, relying heavily on Celtic mythology. So if you're a fan of Celtic mythology, you'll really find something to enjoy in here. The story is still just getting set up, but it is a pleasure to enjoy and experience this book with Liam Sharp's very capable pen. It's just beautiful. It's such a beautiful book. Super Sons number 14 is here with the final part of the Parent Trap story. You got Talia al Ghul, Robin's mom, trying to kill Lois Lane, Superboy's mom, and all the hijinks that ensue that you come to expect from Super Sons. They're there. It's super fun. Amazing artwork too by Carlo Barberi. Jorge Jimenez was originally on this book, and he had such a great fluid dynamic style. Barberi does a very similar thing in style and energy, but definitely has his own twist to it, and it works exceptionally well. You got Damien versus Talia a little bit in here. Great stuff, really cool, fun. The best relationship in comics right now is Damian Wayne and Jonathan Kent. Absolutely. Whatever Bendis does with Superman, I hope that Jonathan is safe, because the relationship with Damian alone is worth it. But Super Sons remains super fun. Aquaman number 34 is here. This book's been up and down. It's kind of decent right now, switching to once a month, getting a little bit more focus on consistent artwork and a consistent style has really helped it. This issue is actually drawn by Kelly Jones, so that's amazing. Really cool. So a horror influenced comic book at times. This mostly focuses on King Wrath, the current leader and ruler in Atlantis. Aquaman's been presumed dead, and now he's like leading this revolution against him, and Mira's on the surface in her own book right now waiting for him to overthrow Wrath so she can come in and be the new queen of Atlantis. But Kelly Jones doing an Aquaman book is kind of exciting. Not as exciting as I thought it would be, but Jones definitely gets the opportunity to put in typical Jonesian fare in the book. So it's fun, it's neat, but it's not the best Aquaman book. It's nowhere near Peter David stuff or the Jeff Johns stuff. But this one is a nice highlight on Kelly Jones' artwork. It's kind of cool to see Kelly over there on an Aquaman book. Batman Ninja Turtles 2, number 5, the penultimate issue. I like saying that word. It's so cool. Anyway, one more after this one. This book has been fun. The first one, which was written by James Tynion IV, with artwork by Freddie Williams, right? Yeah, Freddie Williams the second. I always try to say the third, but it is in fact the second. In this issue, now you got Ryan Ferrier doing some of the scripting for Tynion. He's got a heavy workload right now. But just like the first volume, the second volume has been just as fun. This time you got Bane in the Turtles universe due to a mistake by Donatello. Donatello's all messed up over it. And Bane has gotten Baxter Stockman to mix Venom and the mutagen and create all these monstrosities, gave it to Bebop and Rocksteady, and he's taken over the Foot Clan and the underworld, and this has just been so fun. So fun, so cool, amazing artwork. Donatello gives himself a bit of the Venom now, so there's another big thing. So you got, of course, you got Batman and the Leonardo having to go and stop Donatello, who's like crazy rage infused. But this book has been absolutely fantastic and fun. The beautiful detailed texture artwork. It's just fun. Exactly what you would expect from a Turtles Batman book. It's so fun. Can I say it again? Yes, that book was fun. Cave Carson has an interstellar eye, number 1. Continuing on the book, Cave Carson has a cybernetic eye. DC Young Animal doing their Phase 2 relaunch. I fell off of Cave Carson. I really liked it at first. I thought it was such a good book. Then I just kind of fell off of it. It didn't really engage me or enthrall me. So a new issue 1, a new direction, a new story. I decided I wanted to check it out. I'm glad I did because I loved it. John Rivera is the writer. Michael Avon Oeming is the artist. This book is Kirby crazy. There's tons of Kirby designs, and especially like the machinery. Look at that stuff right there. That's Kirby heaven. So Kirby fans definitely want to check out this issue and take a look through. Beautiful, beautiful colors by Nick Filardi. I believe he's the one doing the colors. I mean, at least his name's on the front there. But this book was really fun. It's a new adventure for Cave Carson, so if you never read the original book, you may feel a little lost. That's okay. It's just a weird psychedelic trip. But it's really, really fun. Nick Filardi was the colors. Amazing colors. That's the cover of the week for me right there. Love it. Super cool. I'm going to go back and get caught up on Cave Carson. Speaking of weird, trippy, and psychedelic, Lucy Dreaming is here from writer Max Bemis and artist Michael Dialinus. This book was really, really cool. It's basically about this young lady, and she kind of, you know, she's not really super into anything other than stories. She doesn't do well in school. She doesn't have a lot of friends. And there's a big mystery about her parents. Her eyes start glowing. All of a sudden she's dreaming, and she's in this story very similar to a Star Wars type thing. Beautiful artwork by Dialinus, however you say that cat's name. Beautiful, gorgeous artwork, and a really neat story that is exactly what you expect from Max Bemis, and it's got a nice hook at the end. But basically when she dreams, it's not a dream, it's not fake, it's not real, it's something else. What's the mystery? It's a 5-issue series from Boom. That's your sleeper hit of the week right there. Do not miss it. Lucid Dreaming, #1. Pick it up, read it, let me know what you thought about it. I loved it. I thought it was really cool. Another book I absolutely adore, Descender, #28 is here. This is the second part of a 2-part story that tells you everything you need to know about what has been going on in this book. What the word Descender, what the title Descender even means, you find out here. Where the robots came from, you find out here. What are the harvesters? Who are the descended? The Descenders. You find out in this book with amazing, glorious artwork from Dustin Nguyen, doing this amazing, beautiful watercolor stuff. A book, an issue filled with exposition, but much needed exposition that keeps you on the edge of your seat just wanting to know. Because this book, this world that writer Jeff Lemire has created is so rich, so enthralling, so engaging. It just hooks you in that even 2 issues of just exposition of telling you everything they haven't told you yet is thrilling. Absolutely thrilling. Great artwork, great dialogue, great story. Descender is one of the best books ever. It's nearing an ending. It is. And all good things must come to an end. Descender is something special. If you've not been reading Descender, shame on you, read it. That book is so good. Also from Image, Kick-Ass #2. Kick-Ass is back, and it's a new Kick-Ass, now a black woman who has got some money problems. Her husband left her as soon as she got out of the military. She's got kids to support, so she goes and rips off some crooks one time, makes about $40,000, gives half of it to charity, keeps half of it for herself to pay off her debts, and then, well, once that itch has been scratched, does she want to go back and do it again? Times are hard, so maybe she does, maybe she doesn't, maybe she actually finds out she just wants to help people and be a superhero. So it's a new Kick-Ass, a complete different tone from the original series, but a fantastic book nonetheless. John Romita Jr. doing what he does best. If you like him, you're going to love this book. If you don't like him, well, you may not like the artwork in this book, but it's fun, it's cool. I love this new character. She's intriguing, it's engaging. It's got me hooked. I was really nervous because Kick-Ass was something I really liked when it first came out, and as it progressed, I was like, you know what, Kick-Ass is not my thing anymore. I guess I feel like I've grown out of it. Well, apparently Mark Miller did too, and now he decided to reimagine it, reboot it, refresh it, and I love it. I've been loving this. 2 issues in, it's great. These 2 issues of Kick-Ass are so good, so good. I almost was going to say better than any 2 issues of the previous series, but I'm not going to say anything that bold yet. This book's got to let it, sit a little bit. Ice Cream Man #3 is here. This is a horror anthology involving an ice cream man to a point. He's kind of like a crypt keeper type character. So each one of these is a cool, creepy story. This is the weakest of the 3 so far. Not completely sold on the story. Didn't really have a good ending or a hook or twist for me. But it's got some it's got some nice ideas, some really cool artwork, some really cool, interesting throwbacks to popular songs. Really neat stuff. Bowie fans, Beatle fans, definitely might want to check it out. It's got a little bit of the horror in it, but it's just a little bit more of a, I mean, they're all supposed to be like Twilight Zone-y, but I don't know, it's all right. There's some neat little things in it though, but it's not the best issue of the series so far, but it's still good. I want to spotlight the coloring. Chris O'Halloran's colors are amazing. This dude has become one of my favorite colorists in the business. He's diverse, he's got a good style, it's distinctive as well, and I'm going to show you that page again because his colors are amazing. I first started noticing him on Generation Gone. Fantastic. This book, by the way, is written by W. Maxwell Prince and art by Martin Morazzo. Fantastic artwork, great coloring, a decent story. The first 2 were better in my opinion, but we got more on the way. And I can forgive it because there's some really nifty ideas and some real nice nods to some classic music. The Spider King #2 is here from IDW, written by Josh Van with illustrations by Simone D'Armini and colored by Adrian Block. Lettered by Nick Shaw. Fantastic lettering. I just want to point out, Shaw's lettering is great. The colors are amazing. The artwork is amazing. The story is fun. It's super cool. It's aliens invading like a Viking world. And it's fun, and it's absurd, and it's ridiculous, and it's just What's the word of the day? Fun. This book was fun. Very exciting. I'm loving this book. Spider King, find it if you can. It's a low-ordered book. Find Spider King. That book is fun. Fans of fantasy, horror, Viking, Norse type stuff, space aliens, genre mixing, things like that. You're going to like that book. James Bond, The Body, #3 is here from Dynamite Comics and writer Alesh Kott. I'm reading it because I kind of like James Bond, but especially when they're done by a writer I highly respect. Kott is one of those writers. He's doing an interesting thing with this story where he's basically theming each issue to a body part. This one being the stomach. Does Bond have the stomach to do what he does? And if he does, why does he have the stomach to do what he does? And lots of other little references and thematic things that tie into the idea of guts and stomach. And I like it. I like it a lot. The artwork by Rafa Labosco is really cool. Valentina Pinto's artwork is amazing. You got Bond basically undercover with a bunch of weapon-selling Nazis. And by the end of it, he, kicks all their asses. And that's really all you need to know. So it's not as deep as some of Kott's work could be, but it is a Bond book, and it's as deep as a Bond book could be. Does that make sense? From Aftershock Comics, we got Baby Teeth #9 from writer Donny Cates. One of the best issues of the series yet. In fact, Gary Brown, who is the artist and co-creator, this is his best issue so far, in my opinion. Enhanced by the beautiful colors of Mark Englert. These are some perfectly picked tones for certain sections of this book. Things are going crazy. This is a story about the Antichrist being reborn as a baby, the different factions that are after it, the different factions that are trying to protect it, and just a simple mom and her sister and her dad and her mother and the family aspect of an Antichrist baby. But it's great. It's got a lot of heart. It's got a lot of action. It's got a lot of horror to it. And seriously, that's Brown's best work on this series so far. Really warming me over on this book. Baby Teeth is super fun. From Valiant Comics, Quantum and Woody, #4. This book, written by Daniel Kibblesmith, has been so fun, so fresh, so clean. It's been great. Kano doing the artwork is a definite big help because he does some great things with the layouts, the way he tells the story. He fits the comedic timing of Kibblesmith's scripts absolutely perfectly. Great panel design, great layout. The pages just look beautiful all on their own. Amazing colors on this book too. Amazing colors. And yeah, it's Kano coloring it himself. And it is so cool. Absolutely. Also in this issue, Woody meets his biological father, and that's just as fun as you thought it would be. This book's been fun, high energy, humorous, a great story. It's always just an adventurous trip when it comes to Quantum and Woody. Plus you got these authentic 90s vintage foils. So cool. So cool. Finally, let's talk about a Boom book, another one. Go Go Power Rangers #8, which basically finally brings an end to the first story arc in a way. I guess it could have ended at 6, but this is just kind of some epilogue-y type stuff. It says Shattered Grid Prelude. That's literally just the last page, but it's worth it because this book has been amazing. Ryan Parrott has been scripting the best Power Rangers comic of all time, really getting into the characters, who they are, their relationships with each other, setting this book in the very earliest days of the Power Rangers history together, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers that is. It was such a great idea, and bringing Dan Mora in for the artwork, it's great. It's dynamic, it's fun, it's fluid. This cat's artwork is amazing, and he draws a Megazord like nobody else. This is super fun. We're getting ready for Shattered Grid coming up. A giant epic crossover between all the different Power Rangers of all time, even Power Rangers we've never seen yet. Lord Draken's all a part of that. Man, this is like what we wanted Super Megaforce to be, and of course didn't get it, because of course Go Kaija did that way better back over in Japan. However, I am super pumped for Shattered Grid. Parrott, Higgins, they've been doing a great job building up their mythology of the Rangers and adding layers and dimensions to a story that didn't have very much to begin with, because it was a very simple story written for kids, and they've added such great depth and texture to the world of the Power Rangers. So that's what I read this week. That's what I thought about it. What did you read? Or what are you going to read? What did you think about it? Let me know in the comments down below. Thank you guys so much for checking out the video every week. We do this on Tuesday/Wednesday, weekly comic book review. Be sure to check out for our other offerings here on YouTube. We have podcasts. We got the weekly pop culture wrap up. We got movie Mondays. Right now we're going through the MCU. It's been super, super fun. Check out popculturephilosophers.com for all that and more, including the newest episodes of the Pop Culture Philosophers podcast. We got a new one coming out this week, 80s comedies with the guys from Killing Time. So that's coming out in a couple days. So be on the lookout for that. Thanks for rocking with us. Keep on reading.